Hi, this is Maria LiPuma from Body Confidence Solutions. Hope you're well and taking good care of yourself. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'd like to talk about an essential element to making changes in your life. So the question I'd like to ask you is, how do you see yourself? Because oftentimes we have a perspective on ourselves which affects whether or not we are able and willing to change. I'll give you an example. The other day I was hiking and we hiked for quite a while. I was with my husband and it was a beautiful day and we were going for a hike up the side of a mountain, and we were walking for quite a while and it felt really good, but at one point I really started to get tired. And I was starting to think about how far are we? Are we heading back yet? Where are we on the hike? And I realized my body was getting tired. And I started to, like I said, calculate, how much longer is this going to be? And just all of this stuff about I want this to be over. And I realized as I was walking, though, that underneath that, what was really driving that was this belief about myself, as I saw myself as not in great shape, not strong, helpless, weak, and all of these old feelings about myself. Because growing up, I wasn't really very physically adept and didn't have a lot of strength in my body, and I had a tendency to be sick, and all of those old ways of seeing myself was showing up in that hike. And I realized that that sort of was driving my feeling of like, this is too much for me. I can't do this. And so right then when I noticed that, I started to say, well, how can I see myself differently here? And as I started to see myself differently, and the self-talk was like, you're strong and your body is working well and you are in good shape and you're getting stronger every day. And as I started to use that as my internal dialogue and started to support myself and started to encourage myself and started to see myself as capable rather than helpless, if I felt different in my body. And I really wasn't even looking now for the end of the hike, as I just felt like this is really good and I'm building capacity and it feels really good and I can do this and I'm doing it. And all of those really positive things that really helped me to enjoy the rest of the hike rather than ruminating about when is this going to be over. So the point of that whole story is, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as needy and helpless and incapable of doing certain things? How can you start to see yourself in a different way? Can you see yourself as being capable? Can you see yourself as being empowered? Can you support yourself in building capacity in certain areas of your life? So when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And when we start to see ourselves differently, and we start to encourage ourselves rather than allowing those old tapes and that internal dialogue to undermine our best efforts, then we can start to change our life, because we want to make changes in our life often. I think that life is really about change in many ways, and we want to better our circumstances. Maybe we want to make better choices in our life, in our relationships, in our health, and all of those things. But if we don't change our thoughts around those things, then it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be lasting, if at all, if we're even at all able to make those changes. So again, we want circumstances in our life to be different, then we have to be different, because who we are created all the circumstances in our life right now. And so as we change who we are, we can step into new circumstances, circumstances that we feel more aligned with, that are more positive for us, that are more effective in reaching our goals, whether they're health goals or business goals or relationship goals, whatever it is. Again, my question for you is to start to ask yourself, how do I see myself? And how might the way I see myself need to change or be tweaked so that I can step into my life in a way that really feels more empowered, with more possibilities. So that's all for today, but thank you for joining me, and I hope that this little tidbit will support you in really questioning how you see yourself and how do you want to start looking at yourself so that you can move into your life in a way that feels aligned with your highest self, aligned with the goals that you'd like to achieve, aligned with the life that you'd like to be living. Take care and look forward to catching up with you next time. Bye now.